Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the classics one chapter at a time. Today, we are on Chapter 40, the Usopp Pirates.
And what an ending for them. The crew that was never really a crew, the game that was never really a game, it all comes to an end on a cliffside with a promise.
A promise to chase a real dream. It's the most honest thing Usopp has said in his entire life.
Absolutely. He tells his friends the truth so he can go live out his greatest lie. If you're on a journey to live out your own truth, consider following us on ours. It helps more people find the show. Now let's get into it. The battle for Syrup Village is over.
And it ends with Luffy, arm wrapped tight around Kuro's neck, holding him completely still. It's such a visceral image. Kuro's entire fighting style is based on untouchable speed, and Luffy has just completely negated it with brute force and sheer willpower.
The Black Cat Pirates are just staring. They can't process it. Their invincible captain, the master of the Silent Step, is caught, pinned, by some kid in a straw hat. They're shouting, asking who he is, how he did it. The illusion is shattered for them. This god-tier planner they followed for years has been brought down to earth, literally.
They worshipped his intellect, his flawless schemes. They saw him as a chess master and everyone else was a pawn. But Luffy doesn't play chess, he just flips the board over.
He absolutely does. Their whole worldview is crumbling in real time. They're looking at Luffy and he doesn't compute. He's not bigger, he's not obviously stronger in a traditional sense. He's just more determined. And that's what broke the plan.
And Luffy's answer to them is just perfect. It's the mission statement. It's the moral compass of the entire series being laid out for the first time in a direct confrontation of philosophies.
He says he'd never lose to a man like Kuro, a pirate who abandons the sea, who runs from his own name. And then he drops one of the most important lines in the entire series so far. A pirate only leaves their name behind when they die.
That's the entire thesis statement of the Grand Line right there. It's not just a cool one-liner, it's the law of the world they live in. Your name, your Jolly Roger, your reputation, that's your soul. It's what lives on after you're gone. It's the treasure you build that no one can take from you.
Exactly. Gold Roger died, but his name started an entire era. Kuro wanted to kill his name so he could live a quiet life. It's the most backward, cowardly thing you can do in this world. It's like a knight throwing away his sword to become a farmer because he's tired of fighting. Luffy is just fundamentally offended by the concept.
It's why he's so terrifying. Kuro is all about schemes, plans, escaping consequence. Luffy is a walking consequence. He just barrels forward, and he finishes by telling all of them, punctuating this entire philosophical lecture with a fist, he's going to be the greatest pirate in the world.
He says it with such certainty. It's not a dream, it's an inevitability he's telling them about. He's not asking for their approval, he's not boasting for the sake of it. He's stating a fact that is as true to him as the sky being blue. It's his North Star, and in that moment, he is using it as a weapon.
And that's the final blow. It's not the final headbutt he landed, it's that declaration. That's what truly defeats Kuro. Then he just hurls Kuro's unconscious body into the rest of his crew like a sack of garbage and tells them to get lost and never come back. And they do. They scramble, they grab their captain, and they run for their ship. No questions asked. The Alpha has been dethroned and a new, much scarier one is standing on the shore.
The threat is gone. The entire meticulously crafted 3-year plan is destroyed in a single afternoon. And the second it is, Luffy just collapses.
Nami catches him. It's that classic Luffy moment. 100% power, 100% of the time until the tank is 0. He has no middle gear. He just burns all the fuel until the job is done. You see this here, you see it against Crocodile, you see it against Lucci. It's his signature. Go until you can't go anymore.
It shows his limits, though. He's not a god. This fight took everything he had. Holding on to Kuro, taking all those slashes, it wore him down completely. We need to remember, Kuro was fast enough to slash him repeatedly before he could even react. Luffy's strategy was literally to let himself get cut to ribbons just for the chance to grab onto him.
That's such a Luffy strategy too. It's not about dodging, it's about enduring. He realized early on he couldn't track Kuro's movements, so he changed the win condition. It wasn't don't get hit, it was get hit but don't let go.
It speaks to a kind of primal intelligence. He can't outthink a schemer like Kuro on a strategic level, but he can identify the fundamental flaw in his opponent's approach. Kuro's plan relied on nobody being able to withstand his assault. Luffy's existence is a refutation of that.
But he won. He identified the one thing Kuro couldn't plan for, someone who could just endure the storm and grab him. He didn't outsmart him, he just outlasted him. He outwilled him.
A pirate who abandons the sea. That line is going to be important, I think. It draws a very clear line in the sand for what kind of pirates we're going to be dealing with. There's Luffy's kind, who embrace the freedom and danger, and then there's everyone else who try to game the system or escape it entirely.
For sure. It's not just about strength, it's about spirit. Kuro's spirit was broken a long time ago. He just wanted to retire. Luffy's is unbreakable. It's the difference between seeing the sea as a challenge to conquer and seeing it as a prison to escape.
We then cut to the forest. Zoro is tying his bandana back around his arm. He just walks away from a defeated Gengo. It's a quiet, badass moment for him.
Okay, can we just stop on that for a second? Because it's a huge detail. Zoro didn't take down Django. Usopp did. I remember reading this for the first time and just assuming Zoro cleaned house. It's what you expect.
That's right. Zoro fought the Nyaban brothers, Buchi and Sham. Usopp had his own battle with the hypnotist, the crew's first mate. Oda makes a very specific choice here to give Usopp a legitimate one-on-one victory against a named and significant opponent.
The guy who was terrified of everything, who ran from the first sign of trouble, stood his ground against the enemy crew's first mate and won. He protected Kaya by himself. This wasn't a group effort. This wasn't Luffy saving the day. This was Usopp on his own, facing his fears and coming out on top.
He did. We don't see the whole fight, but we see the result. Usopp used his wits. He used his slingshot, his exploding stars. He used the terrain. He fought his way. He actually did the heroic thing he's always lied about. The lie became a reality.
And what's the first thing he does after winning, after proving himself a hero, after validating every tall tale he's ever told?
He tells everyone to lie about it.
He gathers Kaya and his little crew, Pimen, Ninjin, and Tamanagi, and makes them promise to keep the entire invasion a secret. This moment is so much more important than the fight itself.
His reasoning is so tragic and so perfectly Usopp. He says, "I'm a liar. No one would believe us anyway." It's a moment of profound self-awareness, but it's heartbreaking. He doesn't believe he's earned the right to tell the truth.
Bro, that hurts. He just lived his dream. He was the hero who saved the village, and he immediately discounts it. He thinks the villagers' perception of him as a liar is more powerful than the truth of what he just did. He's so conditioned to being disbelieved that even when he has objective, verifiable proof of his heroism, he defaults to the assumption of disbelief.
But there's another layer to it, a deeper, more noble one. He says life must continue on as normal. He doesn't want the villagers to live in fear, worrying about what could happen. He's choosing to protect their peace of mind over his own glory. This is the first truly selfless act we've seen from him.
That's the thing. It's an incredibly noble sacrifice. He's taking the L publicly to give them the W privately. He's letting them keep their quiet, peaceful lives at the expense of his own reputation. It's the ultimate act of love for his village. He loves them enough to let them continue thinking he's a nobody.
He understands his role in the village, the boy who cried pirate. If he suddenly tells the truth, and it's this terrifying truth that their beloved butler was a mass murderer planning to kill them all, it shatters their reality. It introduces a permanent fear into their idyllic life. So he preserves the fiction that their world is safe.
It's the most mature thing he could have possibly done. The lie isn't for him, it's for them. And the kids, his little crew, even though you know they are bursting to tell everyone how they fought pirates, they promise. Kaya promises. They all agree to carry this secret for him, for the village.
This defines him. His greatest act of bravery isn't fighting Django with a slingshot. It's this decision right here, to be a silent protector, to have the truth and to bury it for the sake of others. That's a weight that very few people could carry.
Man. And the chapter shows us the effect of that silence almost immediately. It's such brilliant storytelling.
We cut back to the village. The clock strikes 7, and nothing happens.
The street is quiet. The villagers are looking around, confused. They feel like something is missing. There's this beautiful panel of the baker, the butcher, the bartender, all just waiting.
They don't know what it is, but they feel it. The absence of Usopp's daily run, the lie they all claimed to hate, the one they would roll their eyes at. They're experiencing a phantom limb. The part of their day they defined as an annoyance is gone, and its absence leaves a hole.
It was part of the rhythm of their lives, like the morning paper or the mailman. His "Pirates are coming" shout was the town clock in a way. It was the signal that the day had truly begun in Syrup Village, and now it's gone. The silence is deafening.
The normalcy he was trying to protect is already disrupted by his absence. It's a beautifully ironic touch from Oda. In saving their peaceful lives, he had to remove a piece of what made their lives peacefully normal.
And then we see the 3 kids, the former Usopp Pirates, getting home. Their parents are scolding them for being out late, for having torn clothes, for getting into fights. It's so mundane and so devastating at the same time.
They have no idea their children just helped save the entire town. They see scraped knees and ripped shirts, not battle scars. They see disobedience, not bravery. The camera pulls back and we see them being dragged inside, unable to defend themselves.
The kids just have to take it. They can't say, "Oh, sorry, Mom, I was busy fighting off a pirate invasion with a slingshot to defend the honor of our village." They have to keep the promise. They have to swallow the biggest, most exciting truth of their entire lives.
It's the weight of the secret. They have to go back to being normal kids, but they know what happened. They know the truth. That's a heavy burden for a child. It's the moment they stop being children, just playing a game, and become young men who understand sacrifice.
It really is. It sets them apart forever, just like it sets Usopp apart.
Then we see Usopp down at the coast. He's thanking Luffy, Zoro, and Nami. A simple, heartfelt thank you. No jokes, no lies, just pure gratitude.
The fight's over, his home is safe, all because these 3 strangers decided to believe him when no one else would. That's a bond for life right there. He's looking at them and you can see he knows his life is about to change forever because of them.
At the same time, we see Kaya at the mansion tending to Mary's wounds. He was gravely injured protecting her.
Such a loyal guy. He stood up to Kuro knowing he had no chance. True dedication. He's the unsung hero of the mansion staff. He didn't have a devil fruit or 3 swords, but he stood his ground. A true super guy.
And Kaya tells him about the promise to keep what happened a secret. She's reaffirming her commitment to Usopp's decision. She's an active accomplice in his noble lie. It shows her strength and her respect for Usopp. She's not just a damsel in distress, she's an active participant in the resolution.
Everyone is falling in line with the plan. It's this collective agreement to bury the truth for the greater good. It's heavy stuff. The whole arc is about lies and truth, and it ends with the most heroic act being a collective agreement to tell a lie of a mission forever.
And it all leads to the final scene, the one the chapter's named for.
Usopp, standing on a cliff overlooking the sea, with his 3 crewmates, Pimen, Ninjin, and Tamanagi. The same cliff where he would sit and look out at the water, dreaming.
He calls them together for one last meeting. The tone is somber. They know something is different. And he drops the bomb. He tells them he's leaving the island.
He's gonna become a real pirate.
The shock on their faces. You can feel it. Their whole world, this game they played every day, their captain, their hero, it's all changing in an instant. Oda does such a great job with just a few panels of their wide, teary eyes.
And Usopp gives this speech. He's not the sniveling, scared kid anymore. He's a leader. He tells them the Usopp Pirates are disbanded. He says it with authority. It's the first time he's truly acted like a captain, and his first act is to dissolve his own crew.
He reminisces about the day they met, about the fun they had chasing cats and scaring the grocer. But then he says something critical. He tells them to go chase their own dreams.
That's the part that gets me. He's not just abandoning them, he's graduating them. He's saying, our game is over. Now go live your real lives. Find what you love. It's a profound act of mentorship. He's taking the lesson Luffy embodies, the pursuit of a dream, and passing it down to the next generation.
He's setting them free. He knows he can't be their captain anymore because his dream requires him to leave. So instead of holding them back, instead of letting them wait for him, he pushes them forward. It's an act of love, a painful one, but a necessary one for all of them to grow.
It is the single most courageous and selfless thing he has ever done. To tell the truth, to break their hearts so they can all grow up. That takes a kind of strength he didn't have at the start of this arc. He had to face his own fear of loneliness to give them the freedom to find their own paths.
It's a tearful farewell. They're all crying. He's trying to hold it together, but he's crying too. He calls them his best friends. And with that, the Usopp Pirates are no more. The final panel is him, back turned to them, walking away as they salute him through their tears.
Wow, just wow. He had to disband his fake crew to go join a real one. He had to end the lie to start living the truth. Or, well, living a new, bigger lie that he's gonna make true. The lie of being a brave warrior of the sea.
It's the perfect end to his origin story. He can't become a brave warrior of the sea while he's still playing pirate captain in his hometown. He had to close that chapter of his life for good. He had to say a real, painful goodbye.
He really did. The boy is gone. The man is heading out to sea.
Okay, but think about what this means for him going forward. His entire identity is wrapped up in these stories, these lies. Now he's setting out to actually live them. The pressure on him is immense. He's leaving a world where he was the strongest, the captain, the leader, to join a world where he is, by a significant margin, the weakest.
He's got to make it real now. Every boast, every tall tale, he now has to try and live up to it alongside a monster like Luffy and a demon like Zoro. That's a tall order. He's joining a crew with two people who just took down 100 pirates by themselves. He's bringing a slingshot and some marbles.
It is, but this act, disbanding his crew and choosing the sea, it proves he's got the heart for it. The skills will come later. The heart is there. He has the conviction now. He understands what it means to fight for something, to protect people, and to make sacrifices for a dream. That's the entry requirement for this crew.
Absolutely. He chose the hard path, the scary path, the one that leads to his dream. That's what makes him a Straw Hat. It's not about being strong from day one. It's about having the courage to set sail even when you're terrified.
It feels like the end of the prologue for Usopp. Everything from here on out is the main story. He's established his motivations, his fears, his core nobility. Now we get to see how that character interacts with the absolute madness of the Grand Line.
What a chapter. It's got the epic finale with Kuro, the quiet tension in the village, and this incredibly emotional farewell. It hits every note. Action, philosophy, tragedy, and hope, all in about 20 pages.
It's a masterclass in character resolution. Every loose end in Syrup Village feels like it's being tied up perfectly, not just for the plot, but for the emotional and thematic journey of its main character.
It really is. What do you think was Usopp's bravest moment? The secret he kept from the village, or the truth he told his crew? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read all of them.
Okay, predictions for Chapter 41. What do you have?
I've got two, and one of them feels like a lock. First, Kaya is going to give them a ship. It has to happen. They're on a tiny little dinghy that can barely fit 3 people, let alone 4. Mary is injured, she's eternally grateful, and they need a proper vessel. We are about to meet the Going Mary. I can feel it. It's designed by Mary. Kaya provides it. It's the perfect parting gift.
That feels very likely. It's the perfect way for her to repay them and help Usopp on his journey. It's a gift of gratitude that also serves a critical plot function. It makes perfect sense.
Second prediction, the very first thing that happens next chapter is Usopp formally asking Luffy if he can join the crew. He's packed his bag, he's said his goodbyes, the next logical step is the ask, and Luffy is just gonna grin and say, sure, like it was obvious the whole time. The crew is officially getting its sniper. There won't be any big debate, it's just a foregone conclusion.
I agree. That feels like the natural next step. The offer was implicitly made when Luffy fought for his village. This is just the verbal confirmation. Okay, my turn. First, I think we will see the Black Cat Pirates again, but on their ship. I want to know what happens to Kuro. Do they just take their defeated captain and sail away? Or do they abandon him? His entire philosophy was about the crew being disposable pawns. I want to see if they learned that lesson and apply it to him.
Ooh, that's a good one. Seeing if their loyalty holds up after he was completely humiliated. He treated them like tools. Do they still follow him, or does Django take over? Or do they just dump him on a rock somewhere? I like that. It would be a fittingly pathetic end for him.
Second, I think we'll see a proper farewell scene with Usopp and the village, but it will be under false pretenses. They won't know he's a hero. They'll just think the town liar is finally making good on his threat to run off to sea. It'll be a sad, misunderstood goodbye. The villagers will probably be whispering things like, good riddance, while he's walking to the shore, which fits his character arc in this village perfectly.
That would be so bittersweet. They'd be glad to see him go while being totally ignorant of what he did for them. Classic Usopp. He walks away a hero that no one knows, carrying the secret to his grave. That is super tragic.
Exactly. And for my last one, a small detail. What happens to Django? He was just left defeated in the forest. He's a wanted pirate. I predict we'll get a quick shot of him either being captured by Marines who show up late, as they always do, or him sneakily hypnotizing himself to escape or forget what happened. His fate is the only real loose thread from the fight itself.
Yeah, you can't just leave a hypnotist with a razor-sharp chakram lying around. Someone's got to deal with him. He's too weird of a character to just disappear. All right, solid predictions. This is it, the end of Syrup Village.
And the beginning of a new chapter for the crew, with a new member.
It's about to get a whole lot louder on that little boat of theirs, and I can't wait. We've got a liar, a thief, a demon, and a rubber-brained captain. What could possibly go wrong? Join us next time as we find out. Thanks for listening to Inherited Dawn.